Hello? Hello?
Hello, Jeremy. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can hear you just fine.
Good evening. How are you?
Hey, doing all right on yourself?
Doing well. Just trying to stay warm, man.
Yeah, same here. I've been out earlier this morning. Luckily, my area of Virginia wasn't hit by snow, but it seems like everywhere else had like a blizzard last night.
I know. See, I live in Blacksburg, about 3 hours, I think, south of you, and luckily, thank the good Lord, we weren't hit either because we we thought we were going to be, but thank goodness we weren't.
Yeah, I know. I'm on Instagram right now just looking at people posting like snow day, no school, work got canceled, delays. I'm like, wow, the sun is shining. There's a cool breeze now, but I'm just glad there was no snow. So luckily that's not the situation. But I can't believe it's already Thursday, and I'm looking forward to that because that means we're one day closer to the haves and have-nots. But um,
I'm ready to rumble. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to rumble.
I'm beyond ready. I feel like I've said this enough in some videos. I just want to know what happened to Veronica so we can move on from that. I'm tired of doing theories. I feel like we've all, not just myself, but you and other people I've live streamed with, I feel like we've talked it to death. Like, I just want to know what happens. So that's all I have to say with that. But today, well, at this moment, we're doing Jim Cryer, all Jim Cryer. And with that being said, if you want to get us started off, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that with Jim Cryer, it's been interesting in the past of 107 episodes that we've gotten so far. It's just been interesting to watch him, you know, so to speak, transition from being a have to a have-not, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? That?
Oh, definitely.
Because it's just like the show starts and he's just, this high-powered judge, this, he's got people right where he wants them. He's got, he just Jim Cryer just snaps his fingers and everything just happens. Now it's just like he's just this lowly person on the totem pole who's just like, oh well, he's just there basically. He's just there. He's just to be there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I feel like one of his first humbling experiences, and I think even Catherine brought this up, was when Quincy beat his ass at their dinner party.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, and then that was when you kind of saw his downfall, and that's right after. That's right before he got abducted by Warlock and got sent to the war room.
Yeah, it was just like one thing after another. It was just ridiculous. And
but now, mind you, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was about to say, and I mean, after that, it looks like it was just an endless spiral of depression from actually losing his daughter, who was, well, for a lack of a better phrase, his favorite child, and then losing $7.4 million. And then from there, it was just like one loss after another.
Exactly, and I couldn't agree more. But now, mind you, though, after he got out of the war room, mind you, he did have a few boss moments. Like, I mean, there was this one point in like the second half of season 3, where he had like he kind of was, lack of a better term, he was basically kicking ass because look, I mean, he beat Professor Cam's ass in the parking lot, and then he went to jail and beat up a couple guards. And
True.
Like, that was just, that thing with Selena he did, seducing her, that was a great performance. But that second half of season 3 there, he got back in the power chair, so to speak. He was kicking some major ass.
You know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. And aside from Jim kicking ass, what I liked about it, it wasn't just Jim Cryer himself. It seemed like him and Catherine had like almost like an understanding, like, they were working together for the sake of their daughter, like confronting Professor Cannon in the parking lot. And even Professor Cannon was like, can the two of us speak alone? And then Catherine's like, no, anything you have to say to him, you can say to both of us. And he's like,
I am his brother.
I was about to say that exact phrase. Yep. And even though it was Boss, I feel like one of his best moments was one of his lowest moments was when the guard said that, you know, one of the inmates who's a rapist got into his cell, and then Jim went there, like he literally threatened Terrell, his whole family. He took him to Wyatt's cell. He came back. He's like, you know what, everybody leave. And he broke down in that jail cell. I mean, well, in the jail. I mean, it was a Boss moment. I mean, well, not a Boss moment, but it's like you really saw his emotional side because he truly, truly felt sad that his son got taken advantage of because of him. And it goes back to what Catherine said. If you would have gotten him out of jail when I said so, he wouldn't have got raped. If we would have put Amanda in the institution, she wouldn't have been shot. And then we go from the next moment of, well, you know what? Speaking about that jail moment, it was definitely a powerful scene because we just saw that at the very core, Jim Cryer, once he has a plan in place, he will let that plan go from point A to point Z no matter what happens. Remember when Wyatt was begging him to get out of jail? He's like, Dad, you got to get me out of here. Don't leave me. He's like, Wyatt, let go of my shirt, Wyatt. I'll go talk to the warrant and see what I can do. And in that moment, it's like Jim was the father. Like he knew before going in there what his son was going through. So when Wyatt was breaking down because he got raped, Jim knew his pain. He knew his son was just taken advantage of, but he was stone cold because he wanted Wyatt to learn the point. Exactly. So when he went in that room and told all the guys to get out and he started breaking down, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy. So yeah, there were some Boss moments, but at the same time, it's like, man, Jim screwed up. And in those moments, he had his Boss moments, but at the very core, it's because of something he did. And I feel like his Boss moments, ironically enough, another Boss moment of Jim Cryer was this season. Let me think. Actually, I think this was season 3 after Amanda's funeral. Of course, the fantastic scene where Jim and Catherine were interrogating Candace. And by Jim and Catherine, I mean, well, Catherine was doing the talking, but Jim was doing such great acting without saying a word at all. Like, I loved his body language, how he kind of like scoffed after Candace was unconscious on the couch. That was great.
He just said, huh.
Yep. It's like, because the way Candace was laid out on the couch, you can clearly see her behind. So it kind of looked like Jim was kind of like looking, Then he just walked out. I love that. But I feel like Jim Cryer has had some. Jim Cryer has had some Boss moments, but I feel like we can both agree that he's just been steamrolled the past couple seasons here.
Well, I agree. I agree 100% with that. And back to his Boss moments, another Boss moment he had was when he was in the jail. He and with Lloyd. Remember, Lloyd was saying, "All right," he said, "Give it alone. Give Candace alone."
Yep.
But put in a 15-day balloon. You're still running things.
Yeah,
still running things from bars.
Yeah. I was about to say that. That was a Boss moment because it's like, look, even though I'm in jail, I'm still going to teach this little bitch a thing or two. She thinks she's going to get this money. I'll go ahead and let her have the money, but little does she know. And what's even worse is because Candace got Erica to forge those documents with Benny's signature, and because of that 15-day balloon burst even sooner than expected.
Yeah, and that's, and Jim was just like, he even Lloyd. He said, this is a smart woman. Let's just see if she can catch this.
Yeah, I love that. Again, it was just like, yeah, she feels like every time she walks into a room, she feels like she's the smartest one in here. But let me just see how smart she is by putting this underlying text in there. And I think going on even further, when Warlock eventually ended up in the cell across from Jim, I believe Jim said that, actually Warlock said, yeah, people do stupid stuff when they're desperate. And he's like, that's a very good observation. And that was Candace. Like, usually under normal circumstances, she would have caught that. But she was at a point where I need this money or me and my brother are dead. So I'll sign it, get the cash, and go on from there. Like, I remember how nervous she was when she went to the bank to Lloyd to actually ask for $2 million in cash. And he was like, yeah, we don't do that. Then the next thing you know, she was surprised that, well, you know what, Miss Young, I talked with some of the department heads and we decided to give you the $2 million. And I'm just like, again, Candace should have been smart enough to see it.
That was Jim Cryer, didn't she?
Nope. Again, I was literally about to say, under normal circumstances, Candace would have been way too suspicious. But given the fact that she was so desperate, she made a stupid move. Made a stupid move.
Yeah. And that was, and that's, you know, back to Jim Cryer. See, you know, when Benny Benny got to meet you for that brief moment back in season 3, episode 21, when he came in looking for Catherine.
Wait, when was this?
See, do you remember that?
Okay,
remember in season 3, episode 21, when Candace and or not Candace, but Hannah and Benny were at Catherine's house, and Catherine was there, and Jim came in and talked to Benny and said, "Hi, who are you?" And
whoa.
Like,
hey.
My name is Benny. Who are you?
Are you referring to like the episode before the finale? I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I thought that was like in this last season, right? Where Benny's waiting on.
Yeah, it was the last.
Yeah.
It was the last.
Yeah, okay.
It was 2 episodes. It was 2 episodes before the finale, actually.
Yeah, because Jim walked in, asked who Benny was. Next thing you know, him and Catherine are having sex. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm surprised that Benny didn't stay then. You know, so you're the one who did all this to my sister and all this and that.
And your son was the one that hit me. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that we would get more of a
confrontation. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, yo, this is a pretty big moment here, but I feel like it was glossed over due to time constraints. So yeah, honestly, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the first time them meeting, and I believe Benny knew about Jim Cryer covering it up because, and as well as his son being the one to hit him, because Candace was trying to get Benny and Michael to sue the Cryers about like a season or so ago. I remember that. So yeah, Benny was well aware of who Jim was. So yeah, I was just surprised that they were so cordial about it. So I agree. Maybe this is foreshadowing.
Maybe the nephew. Maybe he was just upset about his nephew, or he was all that could have a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because again, there was just so much going on at the funeral planning that there really wasn't that time for that drama. That's going to probably happen down the line, if ever. But I feel like since Benny knows how much Catherine is a crutch, or pretty much like emotional support to his mom, he doesn't really care. It's Candace who's still trying to stoke that fire just to get money from the Cryers. But Benny is like pretty much past it. I believe even when Candace was trying to persuade Benny, hey, we should sue these people, he's like, man, I'm all right. I got a house. I got a tow company. I'm good. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's another thing about Jim. See, I'm interested to see, and this is one thing I've been really wanting to get your thoughts on. This new that Jim's going to have, and we don't know who it is yet, but this new number 10, so to speak, she's going to, yeah. Do you think she's going to make Jim feel like he's at the top of the pole again? Because it's like...
Pole could mean so many things with Jim Cryer. Let's be honest here. I
couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I could not agree more.
I feel like, remember when he and Candace spoke in season 1 where he's like, you know what, I just want to give it all up. I don't care anymore about, the politics, the courthouse, the fame. I don't care about it anymore. And Candace like, I don't feel sorry for you. So I feel like for Jim, as long as he has somebody on top of him and he has his hand in a woman's pants, he doesn't care. I mean, at this point, remember, he's about to go through a divorce, allegedly. Catherine's house burnt down. His son doesn't want anything to do with him. So at this point, Jim Cryer doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn. I mean, Mama Rose left his, pretty much, he lost his greatest asset in terms of hired muscle and an ally. And then you have the whole Jennifer Stousen thing. So with the world crumbling around him, he'll probably welcome anybody into his bed that has, 2 legs and a rack. Let's just be honest here. So I feel at this point Candace is going to strike when Jim is most vulnerable, because just like she's coaching Erica, it's almost like a video game. Like, she's hitting the buttons, Erica is enacting those actions, and David's doing exactly what Candace expects him to do. So I feel like she knows this is the best time to strike at Jim for her revenge plot on everyone, and Jim Cryer is going to fall. Like, you know what's going to be interesting, funny, but sad? I feel like if this number 10 comes into Jim's life, she's probably going to con him faster than Erica is going to con David, and she's been playing David for like a season now. That's how into it that Jim is. Yeah.
Yeah, because Jim's gonna. Because I think if he falls, he's gonna fall hard. I mean, if he falls for this woman, whoever she is, he's gonna fall for her hard. I think.
Yeah, he's going to lose the last $5 he has, and I know I speculated on this before, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But I said that a couple seasons ago, like when he lost Amanda, it would be interesting if he was being, based off the plot line, pushed back into Selene in order for him to be a father to his 2 sons by her. But again, I'm still going on the whole Selene killed Amanda, so that'll be an interesting plot point as well. And I feel like, Jim being a father to his youngest son by Selene, and if Candace ended up pregnant in the show because Tinka Sumter was pregnant in real life, it will be both of their chances for redemption to raise their children the way they didn't raise their other children. Like, Candace didn't raise Quincy Jr. Jim, quote unquote, raised Amanda and Wyatt, but he was more interested in his sexual escapades and actually being a faithful husband and loving father. So I don't know if that's where the storyline's going, but yeah, if this number 10 swoops in and gets Jim in the condition he's in, he's going to lose everything in a blink of an eye without a doubt. I feel like another great Jim Cryer moment that could be upcoming is if him and Oscar, well, let's just say if Oscar's plan works out, that he's able to get back Wyatt's inheritance. That will be a victory for Jim Cryer.
Yeah, that would be a good moment for Jim Cryer. But see, I kind of thought that Oscar, well, he didn't find. And that's another thing about Oscar. See, I kind of suspected Oscar to have a demise last season, because remember Jim Cryer was talking about, oh well, if Oscar can't find this Warlock kid, well, I'm going to send his ass right back to jail and this and that.
Yeah, that was one of my least favorite Jim Cryer moments. I'm like, man, that's messed up that Jim is in hot water with Mama Rose, and now he's looking to potentially mess up Oscar if things don't go right with, Wyatt and Warlock. And that's one of David's best connections. So if anything, Jim is putting one of David's best connections at risk if he's unable to deliver on his end.
Yeah, that is kind of screwed up, and over something that Jim caused himself.
Exactly. Like, David had nothing to do with that. So it's like it's like if you asked to borrow my car, and for some reason, because yours is broke down, and it's like, yeah, if your car doesn't get me to my designated location in like the next 15 minutes, when it says it's going to get me there in 10, I'm going to have it, sent to the tow yard. It's like, well, I'm helping you out with my resource, and if it doesn't work the way you want to, you're just going to, throw it away. That's messed up. So I feel the same way about Oscar. I feel like it's possible. I mean, I don't think he would bring that up unless he really meant it, but I feel like that's really messed up, though. Man.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe he did mean it, because, like, again, there goes back to that saying: people do stupid things when they're desperate.
Yep.
Jim Cryer is pretty desperate at that point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that Mama Rose is against him. Well, I mean, against him in the sense that she's teaching him a lesson. She's like, I'm not going to kill you. I just feel like you need to. I need to remind you of who I am. It's like, Rose. I love when Jim kept saying that. Like, Rose, I'm good. I don't need to learn this lesson. Oh my God, no, she did it.
And she kept saying, no, you're going to learn. You'll see.
Yep.
And that leads to her throwing Jennifer's body right in front of the DV7 news station or whatever that was called.
I thought that was pretty funny. Like, that one random worker at the news station just happened to be walking outside and then screamed like, ah! I'm like, dang, was she on her lunch break? Was she clocking out? And did she just so happen to see a dead body? I'm like, imagine that. Like, you having a great day at work. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to clock out, maybe go to the bar real quick, talk to the friends, and then go home and get some sleep. Or you had a bad day. Honestly, she looked like she was in an average condition, so I'm thinking she had a good shift. Goes outside to get a smoke. Next thing you know, boom, dead body. What the heck? Who would have expected that?
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
I know some people were like, hey, what if that's not Jennifer's body? I'm like, that's a good, that would have been a great plot twist. I don't know if that's actually the case because, you know, unless they did like DNA and whatnot. And to be honest, I don't feel like the law enforcement in this show are the best. I feel like they've had some crappy examples of, you know, competence. Like the first one being that one cop that told the family it's a homicide. And that was the cliffhanger.
Hold on a minute there. I still think, well, I don't know if we can consider that incompetence because I'm going to say it again. I still think Amanda's murder was a homicide.
Number one, I fully agree. Yes, I've always said it was a homicide. But number two, I feel like even though that was a good cliffhanger call, oh, Melissa Bird, what's going on? Yeah, we're just talking Jim Cryer here, pretty much the ups and downs of Jim Cryer as a character. Now, back to what I was saying. That was a great way to end the episode on a cliffhanger because they had like a close up on everybody's face, like, oh my God, a homicide. And then the next episode, you had Jim and Veronica grilling this guy. It's like, okay, you better be damn sure before you say it's a homicide, not a suicide. And one of my favorite Veronica lines is like, boy, there are more degrees in here than a thermometer, so you better make sure you're right when you make the call. And then he kind of backed down. It's like, yeah, I'm not qualified to make that call. We'll wait for the DA to come. And I'm like, damn, that was pretty messed up. But I feel like with that call, it was a great cliffhanger, but I feel like they literally beat this guy to a pulp that he kind of like chickened out. He's like, you know what? Yeah, we'll let it go. And then when Jennifer eventually came down the steps, she's like, yeah, we're calling it a suicide. And then, of course, we later learn private investigation. So I'm wondering two things with that.
Even David and Veronica because David and Veronica kind of beat her up too.
Oh, yeah, because they took her to the back, yeah.
They took her in the study and said, you're gonna mess with the death of his daughter just because you don't like him and you want to get back at him, so you're going to call it a homicide instead of a suicide. How dare you? And this and that and this and that. So that might have made her feel a little guilty too.
Yeah, I agree. And I believe she even said something along the lines of, Veronica was like, will you let us know first when you find out something? I'll let everybody know as soon as I find something out. So I agree that Jennifer being there was definitely kind of mixed signals because I didn't know if she willingly called it a suicide because, you know what, I'm going to do my own investigation. That way the family will have time to grieve. And as soon as I find something out, I'll let them know, because that actually makes sense, because with the family literally just losing their daughter, they need time to bury her, to grieve. So she didn't want to add on the added pressure of it was a homicide. So now you're going to be pointing fingers at everybody wondering who killed Amanda. Or she could have just been doing that out of spite. It's like, you know what? You pretty much covered up the hit and run of Little Lizzie, so I'm not going to give you the full details of Amanda Cryer. So I could see it going both ways, but at the core, I feel like Jennifer does have some integrity there. So I will agree that she probably hit it for the family's sake until she had a stronger case to say that, you know what, this is definitely a homicide.
Yeah, I personally don't think that she hit it for,
the Little Lizzie thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. And then another sign of police incompetence was when Benny got in that truck wreck with Quincy, and then you had all those cops there, and Quincy was literally hiding like 30 feet away in the woods. And I'm like, did nobody think to look? It's pretty obvious he left like a trail of blood on the street until he got into the middle of the woods. Well, he got to like the first bush, away from the street. And I'm like, don't y'all have dogs or anything that could have sniffed him out? And by this wasn't shown on screen. I want to know how he hobbled his ass from the car wreck all the way to the hospital. Because remember when he was walking down the hallway and Benny and Hannah saw him, I honestly thought it was a ghost. I didn't know that was really Quincy. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how the hell did he get from the site of the accident all the way to the hospital?
Because he didn't have a phone. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Benny take his phone?
Yeah, he took it, called 911, and then threw it into the woods. And by threw it into the woods, I mean he threw it on the opposite side of the street that Quincy eventually climbed to. So he didn't have any car, he didn't have any phone. He hobbled there.
Who knows? I mean, and who knows how long it took him?
Exactly. It was ridiculous. Because remember, Benny went to find Quincy Jr. at Quita's house, and that's why Hannah and Benny were at the hospital, because they saw how messed up and infected Quincy Jr.'s back was. So there was a few episodes there, but hey, I mean, I don't know. You know, the time frame of this show is weird. But let's see. Aside from hopefully Oscar's plan with Wyatt working out, and if it doesn't, I mean, David said that, you know what, I'll try to dig up something on Oscar. This could be the last we see of Oscar. And to be honest, I like Oscar's character, but I don't really see what he's there for at this point unless he's working with the FBI or something that we don't know about, because he tried to get Candace's help with blackmailing Charles, but that didn't work. Candace knows that Oscar is on his tail. Oscar is working with Jim to get Wyatt's inheritance back. And aside from that, the only thing I can think of is if he eventually digs up dirt on Erica. But do you think it's possible that Jim will have him locked away and that's the last time we see Oscar?
Yeah, that could be possible.
Yeah.
And something else I wonder, do you think that before the show ends in 2019, 2020, that Jim will be back in the power chair again at all?
You know what? I don't know if Jim will be back in the power chair, but I feel like he might find a new sense of power. Like, I remember back in the early interviews when the show first came on, Jim was talking about how it's interesting how Tyler writes these characters, because if anything, it's like the haves are the ones who are the have-nots because they don't have any soul, no faith. They just have money and, pretty much these riches and fame and popularity, but they don't have any soul. So the more you watch the show, especially during the beginning seasons, you find out that the haves actually are the ones who, at the core value of it, they're more unhappy than the have-nots, to be honest. I mean, Candace really is never satisfied with what she has. Like, she could have $20 million and still not be satisfied. But when you look at it, Catherine was more miserable than Hannah. Benny was happier than, let's say, Wyatt or Amanda. So I feel like the same thing is true for Jim. So I feel like Jim might actually get more power from being, happy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, I feel like we discussed before. I think Jim and Catherine might not get a divorce. I feel like they might work things out and be happy.
Yeah, and because, just like you were saying, that I do, and you even said you agree with this, thought that there was this unspoken love for one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I really see, you know what, let's put the whole Celine killing Amanda thing on the shelf. Let's just talk about Celine. I want to see how she's going to fit back into the series. Like, I do think she is coming back. It's just that I want to see in what capacity will she eventually come back to the actual show and what that will mean from Jim, because her whole stick was, we're not even, Jim. So that's going to say that she's coming back. And I bet it's going to be at a time where Jim feels like he's winning. And then next thing you know, oh my God, just one more thing to worry about that caught me off guard.
So you think just when Jim feels like he's got it all back, that's when she's going to come in and pretty much destroy it all for him.
That's pretty much how the show looks, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, so aside from this number 10 supposedly, I want to know how he'll retaliate on Candace, because I feel like at some point he's probably going to learn that this chick is somebody that Candace hooked him up with.
See, that might be, and who knows, that might too. He might call Oscar and say, you know, some digging on such and such and see who she is or see where she comes from.
I hope that's the case. But remember that David is one who really has gut instincts and reacts to them more than Jim. It's just that I feel like David has went through so much with Veronica. He's lost Maggie. So the fact that Erica popped up, he's literally just, well, blind. I feel like he's as blinded by his attraction to Erica as he was blinded with his loyalty to Veronica. Like, he's not making the smart moves. Like, literally, give Oscar those 10 minutes or less, and he could have found out that Erica's playing you. If not, Oscar met Erica at that restaurant that one time. She kept trying to go up on him when he was literally on a date. Then got that bellhop to put the phone in his car. That's how Candace followed him to that house, which we eventually learned was a fake family that Oscar set up to throw off anybody following him. And right during that moment, I'm like, oh, damn, Oscar, this guy's awesome. I like this guy. So I feel like Jim would not be in that position because Jim really doesn't see Oscar as a comrade the way David does.
Then, see, when he had Candace, you know, he and David were friends. I guess they're still friends now, but they're more like frenemies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
There's some animosity there.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I feel like those two having that fight in the jail, and then those two making up is just like a pure example of men. You know, we get into these arguments, but then the next thing you know, we're buddies again. It's like, you know, I owe you an ass whooping. He's like, and then Dave was like, that's one debt I hope I never had to, you know, face again, or something along those lines. So him and Jim are pretty much back to where they were, buddy. But at the same time, it's like Jim, I think even Catherine called him a sociopath on a few occasions.
Yeah, especially when Amanda died, she called him a sociopath.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he is. Him and Candace see people as tools. They only have a few people in their inner circle, but as Jeffrey pointed out to Candace, if any one of those people rubs you the wrong way or you feel like, you know, betrayed, you'll just destroy them. And Jim does the same thing. I feel like you can definitely tell what kind of friend that Jim isn't when he was about to railroad Jeffrey into the hit and run, because he's like, David, I'm sorry, but I think Jeffrey was the one that hit that little girl. And David was like, what the fuck? No. That lets you know, right? And then David was like, Jim, if you want me to help out Wyatt to cover it up, I'll do whatever it takes, but you will not put this on my son. And I'm like, oh my God. That just shows you right there that Jim is willing to throw anybody under the bus, even the son of his so-called friend, if it means, you know, his own butt is going to be saved. So, man.
And that's when David was like, I'm a good friend.
But I'm a better enemy. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh God. That's when the tension started right then.
Oh, yeah. Man. And, trying to think. Yeah, aside from Celine, Oscar, Mama Rose, and this and that. Yeah, I don't think Jim is going to be killed by Mama Rose if Candace calls in that favor, because Candace, I don't think, is going to kill anybody this season. I feel like her self-destruction is both economically, emotionally, and then she'll just leave you to rot. Like, that's her thing, you know, blackmailing, extortion. Killing is pretty much just too easy. Like, yeah, she can call in somebody to take care of Jim, but that would not be satisfying enough for her. Just like why Jim didn't have Mama Rose kill Candace, it was to teach her a lesson that he meant business. Like, yeah, he could have easily had her killed off, but didn't.
But look how many people Jim has had killed off.
True, but let's talk about main characters. You know, characters who, if they died, it's like, oh, this is a big name character who's being killed off the cast.
Oh, yeah, like Candace, yeah. I guess, yeah. Yeah, he probably, yeah, he didn't kill, he wanted to teach her a lesson.
Yep. Same thing with Mama Rose. Like, I'm not going to kill you, but I feel like you need to get a reminder of who you're dealing with. So, yeah. And I see in the comments, like, somebody's like, Mama Rose wouldn't kill Jim. I wouldn't say she wouldn't now. Remember when she thought that when Jim said Harrington, he meant David. Nah, so I feel like if the price is right, or if they owe you a favor, nobody's safe from an assassination, so to speak.
Well, I will tell you this: in that shootout last season, when Warlock busts down the door in the hotel room,
Yeah.
I feel like if Mitch had died, Or would have definitely been killed off.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I have no doubt in my mind about that. I mean,
That's her grandson.
aside from Jim, there's no telling how many people would have been killed. And I'm talking like, even if Warlock was brought to the restaurant, there's no telling how many people would have been killed just to teach them not to mess with the Malones.
Now, just innocent bystanders.
Oh, yeah. Like women, children, men, like, until we find this son of a bitch, I'm like, damn. And again, just a one heck of a opening or interest for the new Mama Rose. Like, as soon as you saw her and her being on screen for like the first 5 minutes, you just knew right then, this Mama Rose is not here to play. She's not here to play nice like the first Mama Rose. She's not going to be a mama to anybody but her family. And if anything, that's why I would love for her and Catherine to meet, because just the way Catherine acted after Amanda was killed, after Wyatt was thought to be dead, like this new Catherine Cryer, who's not afraid to kill. The same thing is like, she's literally Mama Rose in a way, and I love that.
I know, and they resemble each other, and so they have so many qualities. So
Especially this new one. Yeah.
yeah, and I just don't know. If they met, I wonder how would they be friends? You think they would be enemies? I mean, because it's possible that Mr. Hargrave, Catherine's father, knew.
Oh my God, bro! That I never thought of that. Say that again.
It's possible that Mr. Hargrave and Catherine's father, or Mama Rose's father, knew each other, or even knew Mama Rose herself.
That's true. Oh my God, that would be great. I would love that. I mean, you just painting the picture here. Let's say that Jim and Catherine are on the chopping block. Like, Mom Rose has had enough. She wants those two at the restaurant or something like that. Let's say whatever the scenario is, Jim's in hot water. He's about to get shot. Next thing you know, Catherine is like, so you're Mama Rose. And it's like, oh, you're Catherine Cryer. And then it's like, mentions her father. And then those two hit it off. And Jim's looking like, what the hell is this? I would love something like that to happen. I love those moments when Jim is dumbfounded because of what Catherine did. Kind of like when she was trying to seduce that masseuse. That young man's like, I can be your sugar mama. And Jim is like, no, what the hell is this? I would love that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yo.
It would be like Catherine would be saying, so you're such and such Malone's daughter. It's like, oh, you're such and such Hargrave's daughter. Oh, they were great friends. Oh, this and that. Boy. Jim's like, what the hell is that?
And then they go on like laughing and having girl talk about how much of an asshole Jim is. And he's just standing there like, are you kidding me? I would love that. And have that be why he doesn't get killed. Tyler Perry, if you're listening, put that in the script. I would love that. Because again, it's showing how Catherine Cryer can be a badass and add comedy to a serious scene. Oh my God. I need to tweet that to Tyler. Yes.
This is something. Do you like my little theory there?
Yeah. Oh my God. That's like one of the best things I've heard, because we talk about who died, who's going to survive, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, but we rarely talk about comedic effect. That would be great. I would love that.
I mean, that's actually been a theory I've been thinking about ever since the new Mama Rose came, and I even asked myself, boy, what do you think Jeremy will think about this?
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe it wasn't done on purpose that you have a Mama Rose who's kind of like the same stature, some of the same physical attributes as Catherine. So I love that. And I feel like the Mama Rose Catherine comparison, to me, and the fact that they're both linked to Jim is almost like the Warlock and Benny link and how they're linked to Candace, where Benny and Warlock kind of look the same. Benny is pretty much the brother you have at home, the one that looks out for you. Warlock is the brother that looks out for Candace on the street. And then those two actually, we learned that they grew up together. Hannah took Warlock in like her own son. And then have that same connection between Mama Rose and Catherine based off their fathers. And with Catherine's father not being one who played with a straight deck, it wouldn't surprise me if he had some dealings with the Malones back in his day. Yes, make it happen, Tyler Perry. I love that idea. We need to see that in the show. I support this theory. Yes.
Well, thank you. And if that does happen, I wouldn't know what to say. I would be happy, but I would be speechless.
Again, it would add another level to Catherine Cryer. That's why she's in my number one. Yeah. I might have to tweet that out to her or something. Damn. Because I feel like anytime that Catherine one-ups Jim where he thinks he's in control, it's just amazing. It's just, I love it. Because
I hope that's something that... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I remember on maybe one or two occasions where I feel like Catherine indirectly saw the Malones, but she didn't meet the Malones. She pretty much came down the stairs at a moment where the Malones were present. Like the first being where the Malones brought Norman Hewins to Jim's house. It was after they switched places where Wyatt was in jail. Norman was let free, but being watched over by the Malones. And Catherine was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I guess we're not going to be retiring after all. We're still in the game." I love that one moment. It's like after they told off Wyatt, and it's like we're going on a trip. We're just going to retire. How about that, Catherine? I would love that. And I loved it because it's just like right when those two were literally through, it's like, oh my God, we're back in the game. Yep. And she saw the Malones there. It's like, wait, is that the guy you have replacing Wyatt? Don't worry about it, Catherine. I'm like, oh my God. And then I think no, actually, I don't think Catherine was there for this scene. It was when, I forgot if it was either Jim or David that walked in the front door of Jim's house, but it was right when the Malones had finished removing Jennifer's body, cleaning the floor, putting everything back in place. So I forgot. I think David was the one that said, yeah, actually, I think Jim walked down the stairs or walked through the door and saw the Malones finishing up. Yeah, never mind. So I feel like...
Yeah, he did because he said, oh, she's gone.
Yep.
Jennifer's gone.
Yep. And I feel like the fact that it's almost glossed over that Catherine might not even know about the Malones. She might know of them. Yeah, she knows of them, but she's not really up...
I know she knows of them because remember, think about this. Remember in Haunted by a Surname?
Yeah, when she was talking to Mitch. But...
Catherine was like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Mitch Malone. Catherine goes, you mean like the Malones?
Yep. I feel like she knows of the Malones, but she might not know of all the dealings that Jim has with the Malones is what I'm saying. So for her to like have that one-on-one talk with Mama Rose, I would love that to death. Yeah, I definitely love that to death. If anything, just to get a what the hell face out of Jim Cryer, and then to have Catherine say, "Don't worry, I'll handle it." That would be that classic.
That might even, Mama Rose, that Mama Rose might say, something like, well, see, your father helped my father in a lot of ways, so I owe it to you. I'll let you have this one.
And then,
oh my goodness.
I could just see Catherine visiting the restaurant with Mama Rose just to have girl talk, just to talk about the latest gossip, what's going on, how much a pain in the ass Jim is. Oh, I can see it now. Oh, how's your son Wyatt doing? And then Jim will be like, well, I thought you said you didn't give a damn about me and my son. Shut it, Jim. Oh, just those little scenes are gold. Those little scenes are gold in an episode that's just full of drama. When they could just stop everything and make me laugh, I'm done. So, yeah, I hope that happens in the future. So, wow, that is something that will be a definite treat in my eyes. I would love that.
Like another thing is, all the episodes are filled with drama, and when Catherine were in there in the hospital singing, "There's a leak in this old building."
Mm-hmm.
Laughing.
Yeah, it was great.
Good time.
Yep. And again, it's just those little moments where Hannah sprinkling a little bit of Christianity into Catherine, and it's like, you know what, this is great, because I mean, literally, she's going through cancer surgery and whatnot. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see. But yeah.
When Hannah kidnapped Quincy Jr.
Oh my God! It's like Hannah Young on the run.
On the run.
Yeah, that was great. Man, I ain't going to lie. I mean, the fact that you brought up the Mama Rose theory, like, I'm officially done. Like, I have nothing else to say. That was the takeaway from this one. I have nothing else. That was great.
That was, I mean, I've been theorizing that ever since Catherine, ever since the new Mama Rose showed up. And then I rewatched the episode, and then I looked, and I'm like, hey, after it, Mama Rose and Catherine, we need to have, and I just dreamed up this whole theory, and even see, that's the thing. When I see a scene or a theory, person who comes to my mind, it's like, well, I wonder what Jeremy would think about this, or I wonder what Jeremy would have to add to this. You're always the first person who comes to my mind.
Yeah, because it's just like, this is all I think about. And then the fact that you can bring a theory and we could just enhance it by going even further. That's the best part, aside from seeing it actually show up on the screen. You know.
Yeah, see, this is a theory that I would actually. I mean, I theorize a lot of things, and so do you. But this is one that, if this happens, I'm not gonna know what to say. I'm just gonna be like, God.
It would be so, because again, nobody else has talked about it. I've never seen a tweet. I've never seen a video. Nothing.
Have you ever even thought about it before I brought it up?
Those two meeting, but not those two having a connection like that. You know, like my father knew your father. I never thought of that, but I thought that they should meet up.
And if we do get a have and have not backstory, that would be something I would like explored in the backstory too, because it's like, you know, think about it. You know, Mama Rose and Catherine are probably the same age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, being that Mama Rose's father was a crime boss. Being that Catherine's father, Hargrave, was, you know, he wasn't necessarily.
He had some under the table deals.
So to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure that you know, Mr. Malone or whoever, I'm sure that he came into play somewhere, somehow.
Yep. And I think that'll be an interesting dynamic where Catherine's father got the Malones to do some of his dirty work, which is the complete opposite of Catherine, who isn't opposed to getting her hands dirty. Again, great connections there.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well.
See, you know,
oh, go ahead.
Even Veronica said, you know, she was talking all this smack to Mitch, like, boy, who are you? And what are you doing? And how do you know Benny and this and that? And he's like, oh, well, I'm Mitch Malone. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
You've got my attention, Mr. Malone. And I was like, oh, even Veronica is with the Malones.
Yeah, because I think that was during the time where it was like Veronica and Hannah going back and forth. Like, Catherine's like, look, Hannah, I know you don't want to work with her, but she's our only opportunity. And Veronica was like, all she has to do is ask me. And then Hannah was like, hell no. And then that's when you're right, Mitch kind of intervened. It's like, ma'am, I'm Mitch Malone. And when he said Malone, I was like, oh, snap, he's dropping that name. And I love how he does that.
And Veronica said, oh, I'm sorry. You've got my attention, Mr. Malone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And it's just like his grandma was talking about. It's like, he only calls us up when he needs something. And I love that. I just love that dynamic of him not being spoiled, but he knows when to drop the name when it's necessary. Like even when... Yeah, like even when he was talking to David outside of the tow yard, he tried to help him up. He's like, I don't need your help. And he's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I have nothing to say to you. And he's like, I think you'll want to listen. And then, of course, slowly that Malone came out. And then next thing you know, that's when he got that phone call. And I loved it. I loved it.
And Mitch didn't even say Malone. Mama Rose was like, do you know him? And David's like, well, yeah, I know he works here.
That's my grandson.
He's Mitch Malone. And they was like, oh snap.
I know, right? Yeah.
And the way he called Oscar, all serious, like, hey, I need you to get the phones on at Benny's tow yard. Do it now.
David, are you sure? Yes, now. I know. I'm like, oh snap. So, oh my god. Oh my. Hey, cool kid. I see you're late. Guys, if you're just tuning in, I definitely suggest you watch this once the full video's on YouTube. We went from Jim Cryer to the Malones, and oh, this is such a good talk. I mean, oh man, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Dominique says, I don't think Mitch will have a dark side. I don't think Mitch has a dark side per se. I feel like we're going to see more of his Malone heritage come out. So I feel like it's a side he's never brought to the surface. Just like we didn't see the true monster that Warlock was until he got betrayed by Candace. We were told of him having a side like this, but we never saw it. So I'm going to be honest here. I have nothing left to say because my brain is literally just, the gears are turning. I just can't wait for what's going to happen possibly with the next season. I'm going to be honest here. After this conversation, I'm going to be paying more attention to Mitch as well as his Malone roots more than like Veronica and Candace. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and that would be that's funny because now other than you know how excited I was about the Veronica Candace team up.
Yeah.
Like about a potential Catherine and Mama Rose team up now.
Oh yeah, it will be beautiful, beautiful. I feel like
the actress that we have now is Mama Rose because like they have the same stature, the same mannerisms, so to speak. My goodness.
Yeah, I just love it. And again, I feel like Tyler Perry doesn't pick out these cast members by accident. I feel like there was a reason he picked this particular woman.
I think that there's a reason why he picks all of them because like I didn't know until the other day when I was watching one of your videos that Erica, it was a video that when you said, will Erica die next season? I watched that and I didn't know that Erica and Mitch
We're a couple.
Davis were dating in real life. I didn't know that.
Me neither. I'm like, that's why I want to be on the show. It's like, oh my God, all these cast members hooking up. Come on now.
How did you know that?
I saw that a long time ago on social media. Yeah. I'm guessing. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, for what we can tell, I might be wrong. I mean, Justin and Candace met on the show, and now they're engaged with a child. So, who knows?
And really, you're right. It was ironic that Candace, that Erica got pretty much saved by Mitch. Mitch was like, "Yeah, let her live."
Yeah, because Mama Rose like, "Oh, what do we do with this one?" So yeah, I agree.
And if Mama Rose and Catherine team up, Mama Rose, who knows what's in store for Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. The fact that Catherine's an heiress, and then so is Mama Rose to an extent. She was the heir to the Malone operation. So the two of them together, screw Veronica. Oh, my God. That is, oh, man. That is crazy.
See, this might be, like back to Veronica. I have to apologize to you, but I'm going to mention Veronica for like 2 minutes. If Veronica dies, if she doesn't make it, if Veronica doesn't make it, this might be enough to take people's mind off of Veronica. Mama Rose, Catherine team up, people might be going, even the biggest Veronica fans might be going,
yeah, I agree. It's like I said, the show can survive if there's good story. Flesh out the characters you already got. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it just, branch out with, bigger storylines and having, more characters interact,
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I want to be honest here. I want to start tweeting this cast members now. It's like, yo, make this happen. So, any closing thoughts before we finish up right here?
Yeah, I just gonna say I cannot wait until Tuesday, and I'm gonna be tweeting you. I'm sure during the show, and I'm gonna be hopefully. I hope if you'll have me, I'd like to participate in some of your live streams after the show.
Oh, definitely. We'll make that happen. We can make it happen. But overall, this is probably one of the favorite live streams here because we just went from one topic to a whole new theory. Like, and what I like best is the fact that the cast members are tweeting on Tuesday during the episode itself. For the most part, they're available. So hopefully, since we're so close to Tuesday, I'm hoping they reply back to my tweets. I'm about to send them out within the next few minutes here. So I have no idea what's going to happen next. I'm excited, but hey, we'll link up soon. We'll probably do another live stream before this weekend or on Tuesday night. But hey, I hope you have a great rest of the day and try to keep warm.
I will, and it was a privilege speaking with you again, Jeremy.
Likewise. All right, well, you have a great day, Chandler.
You too, Jeremy.
All right, fellow Have and Have Not fans, as you can see, this live stream just went all over the place. I loved it. We went from talking about Jim Cryer up until Mama Rose. Cool kid. I don't know when I'm doing my next live stream. I still need to do a live stream about the magazine article. I have the pictures. If everybody's cool, I will be more than happy to do 8 p.m. tonight. 8 p.m. tonight. That's going to be in about 3.5 hours. 8 p.m. tonight. I'm going to be doing a live stream about the magazine article that Angela Robertson did with ABC Soaps. If you want to join in, you know how to find me. Leave your email in the comment section, or if you already have me on Google Hangouts, chat me on there and I can have you call in, because that will probably be one of the last live streams I do. Well, I mean, I'll probably do more over the weekend, but I feel like that'll probably be one of the last live streams I do about the upcoming season based off what we've already learned. So 8 p.m. Be there, be square. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll be back on within the next 3.5